Welcome everyone. Today we have our another new episode and we will discuss on impact of AI on workforce transformations. We have our world famous speaker, Mr. Robin Deldy. My first questions to you: how is AI transforming traditional job roles and which sectors are most affected by this shift?
Yeah. So what AI is doing is, it's in some cases it's replacing certain jobs, and in other cases it's enhancing them. It really kind of depends on the vertical and what the underlying problem is. So in areas where you've got significant job shortages, um, food services, long haul truck drivers, um, those are areas that where they're looking pretty heavily at employee replacement. Other areas where certainly it's likely going to happen are areas where they don't have the skill set at all yet. So AI integration, blended jobs, the ability to blend, say, a farmer with a technician, for instance. Those are jobs that have been pretty hard to fill, at least from an advisory role. And AI is certainly being slated to drop in there as well. It is allowing people to do more. If you look at where it's had a fairly big impact now, which is in programming, coding, it's significantly improving productivity, but that means smaller teams can do more work. So even though the intent of those tools is to make people more productive, the reality is if you can do the same work with 5 people that you used to be able to do with 10, or with 3 people that you used to be able to do with 10, then why do you need the 10 people unless the work, the amount of work goes up commensurately, and often it doesn't. And so it really kind of depends on the nature of it. In the areas where the people are already overworked and understaffed, then supplementing the people is just closing that particular gap and having very little impact on staffing. On areas where they're fully staffed and where productivity is increased, then that full staff level now becomes overperformant and allows for headcount cuts. So it really kind of depends, and we're early on in here. Where the tools have been created, because it costs about $100 million to spin up a large language model. The focus has been more where the tools exist initially, as opposed to really driving a lot of development in areas where they don't. But that's changing, and now we're seeing certainly the development going into areas where we have the job shortages and where they're looking at full-on automation to replace the people that they're unable to hire.
Thank you. My next questions to you: what are the potential benefits and challenges of integrating AI into workplace processing and decision making?
Well, there are a lot of them. The workplace challenges are people don't like doing things differently. And so just introducing an AI is probably not going to have a big impact unless you train in a way that makes people comfortable with the tool and allows them to use it aggressively. The other issue, of course, is we've had a lot of errors with regard to the initial AI tools, which means quality needs a much higher focus when you're deploying AI. And the market hasn't come around to that idea yet. And so we're getting a lot of breakage. Unfortunate breakage as a result. And I think we're still tracking better than 80% of the AI deployments are failing to meet expectations, largely due to qualitative reasons. So it's really forcing us to take a much harder look at how we measure quality and how we assure quality in these AI-assisted development efforts.
Excellent. My next questions for you: how does AI impact the demand for different skill sets, and what does this mean for future workforce training and education?
Well, let's start with the training and education first. What it means is that training and education right now is fluid. The tools are being developed very rapidly, and these are generative AI tools. We have AGI tools coming in just a few years, and so we won't really settle for a while. And of course, AGI will advance from there. So I would expect the next 15 years are going to be full of lots of change in terms of what careers are, career paths, and the rest. And so it's going to be really important for people to be flexible, to learn to be flexible, and develop multiple skill sets, so you have something to fall back on if AI steps in and lowers the need for your skills. On the other hand, a lot of AI focus is going where people aren't right now. But one of the places where people aren't are in the new skills that are being created. And so with this particular wave, we're not likely to see as many new jobs created as we've had in previous industrial revolutions. As a result of AI being able to come in and fill those roles much more quickly. So people have to find a way to be competitive with AIs. Go into areas where AI isn't whenever possible. Go into areas where you're assisting with bridge kinds of jobs. Because technology is being blended into other career types, and we need bridge people. We need people that can take the technology and discuss it with the people that are currently doing the job and come up with new tools to allow those new jobs to be protective and use the AI tools that are coming to market.
Thank you. My next question. In what ways can AI-driven automation affect employees' morale and job satisfaction, and how should companies address these concerns?
It can have both a positive and negative impact. It really depends on the tool. A lot of the early tools really seem to be focused on doing things that people like doing. In other words, looking at coding, for instance, we created tools that would do coding more quickly. But what people didn't like doing was commenting on the code and quality checking the code. Those are two things they didn't like doing. And the thing we fixed was the thing we didn't need to fix, which is productivity speed. You really needed to fix the other stuff first. If you're doing things wrong, speeding up the wrong stuff doesn't result in a great outcome. And unfortunately, that we've misfocused the tools. We should have focused on qualitative aspects of the work first, because people didn't like doing them. The end result is we're forcing people to do the things they don't like doing, quality checking and commenting, and not letting them do the stuff that they enjoy doing, which was the actual coding. And that's problematic. So I think part of this is we have to go back and really look at the things people do like doing, look at the things they don't like doing, and focus AI on the things that need to be done, but people don't like doing it. That's going to have the least impact on staffing and the greatest positive impact on morale and employee loyalty. But we're not doing that. One of the other things we can use AI for is to measure employee morale and loyalty, and have that be a running measurement. And there are tools coming to market specifically to do that, to create an ongoing measurement of employee satisfaction, morale, and loyalty. And when properly deployed, the management becomes aware of the problem before they lose an awful lot of people, or lose one or two people that were on the critical path to success, and then experience failure. So right now, I don't believe we're actually deploying AI properly. We're so focused on productivity, we've forgotten morale, we've forgotten employee loyalty, and we've forgotten quality, and that's going to bite us in the rear, I think, in a few years. That's actually biting us in the rear right now.
Thank you. My next question for you: what ethical consideration arise from the use of AI in hiring, performance evaluation, workplace surveillance, and how can organizations ensure fair and transparent practices?
Well, if you're going to want to ensure fair and transparent practices, you have to make that a priority. The people need to know what you're doing and how you're doing it and how things are being done. For AI and hiring, the concerns about unfair choice, nepotism, choosing, making racially insensitive choices, those are all long-term problems that various industries have struggled to solve, and AI won't solve it either unless we focus it on the problem. But a lot of what goes into this is just making sure that these decisions are transparent, and when a decision's made, being able to convey that transparency and showcase that the people that were not hired, selected, or properly promoted were in fact treated fairly and equally to their peers. Otherwise, all AI is going to do is make an existing problem worse.
What's your closing remarks for today?
Well, AI has a lot of potential. It has the potential, and it will change work. If we want it to change work for the better, that needs to be a focus. We need to prioritize that outcome. We need to measure towards that outcome, and have milestones that take us to making each workplace a better place to work, keeping employees satisfied, keeping them happy, and making sure that they don't feel they're mistreated. And that feel mistreated could be really problematic if we aren't transparent. So transparency is incredibly important here. And IBM, I think, took an early lead on really arguing for transparency and for an ethical purpose to any AI development. And I think other companies should follow their lead.
Thank you. This is an excellent session. I request all of our audience, please share our content as much as possible with your government agency, corporation, and academia. Thank you. Bye-bye and take care.